eri tā tangata, he mauri reo, he mauri ora, he mauri ora e.
In this episode, Libby Gray talks to Thomas Strickland of Ngāti Kuri descent to discuss the use of Taonga Puoro in the hauora space as a tool for aiding mental health and addiction recovery. They also discuss some exciting plans for future projects, such as a Taonga Puoro orchestra. E te iwi, whakarongo mai rā.
Nau mai kia hau manu
E pō ke keu nuku I tua he tāpui tāmaka I tau ai. Tū mai ngā pari kā rangaranga, whakataua tiki tua whenua, whakataua tiki tai. Kia mahea te hua mā ki hiki, kia toi te kupu, kia toi te reo, kia toi ngā Taonga Puoro. Ka puta ki te whaiau ki te marama, haumi e, hui e,
tai ki e. Tēnā koe kei te tūngāne, e Thomas Strickland. E mihi ana ki a koe I whai wā. Kia hui tahi, hui topa tahi, hui tahi rānei, I raro I tēnei kaupapa whakahirahira, nui whakahirahira, I raro I te korowai. O te Taonga Puoro, it's real awesome to connect again with you, Tūngāne. It's been a few years.
Just a few.
Just a few. Yeah, tēnā whakamohio mai ko wai koe, nohea koe, me tēnei mea te Taonga Puoro, te orokohanga o te Taonga Puoro, I roto I te ao o Thomas Strickland.
Ka pai. Ai, heuri tēnei no te whāwhānota, no te hiku o te ika, te muri o te whenua, te tahi wāhi tauri kura, I te rerenga wairua, ko te hāpo te wāhi, ko te whānau waitai. Tērā, tuku pāpā, no te whānota, atu I te moana nui a kiwa, ki te motu o Aitutaki, ko te whānau Strickland. Tērā, ai, ko au te nanakia, ka puta, ko Thomas Strickland, e mihi nei. E mihi ana ki te kaupapa, te kaupapa I whakawhaitai tātou I konei. Tikara, roa te wā e hoa, roa te wā, tāua, I tūtaki ai, engari rā, nā tēnei taonga no, I whakapiri, I whakakau.
Ana.
Mō reira, mihi ana ki a koe o tira te kaupapa. Tika, te orokohanga o te Taonga Puoro, mōku. So yeah, Thomas Strickland, from the far north, right up at the Cape, from the whānau Waitai, and my father's Strickland from Aitutaki.
Far north.
The far north. Yeah, I'm probably one of those, like all of us that have had a Taonga Puoro journey. It's not how you found it, it's how that taonga found you.
Kia ora.
And I definitely have one of those stories. My grandmother was a huge influence. Te paia Waitai, Ni Norman, and her sister, Sana Murray, Ni Norman. They held all our kōrero for Ngāti Kuri, for the far north. And it was actually through them that I had heard of Hirini, because it was Hirini that spent time with both my nannies up in Te Hāpua when he was gathering the kōrero around the Pupu Harakeke.
Oh.
So there was a huge hononga there, and I still remember the stories like of my grandfather saying he didn't really like this handsome young tūhoi man hanging out with them all the time with all this mātauranga and his, there's he reo korokoro tūri.
Oi, manuti ori.
Yeah, there was a true hononga there, even to the point where Hirini made quite a few taonga for my nannies, ko wauwau. And he actually made my grandfather a pounamu. And it was the kikino.
Oh, beautiful.
Which has a he kōrero no mo te iwi o Ngāti Kuri, te kuri moana. That was all, in my grandparents' era.
Yes.
And then, not only that I Taonga Puoro, but also a kapahaka enthusiast. And I guess my kapahaka path, led me to sit alongside and watched, the many expeditions that both Hirini and Richard Nuns did. Even over all over the world, we'll be touring doing kapahaka, and then you'll have see these two dudes rock up in their leathers and then lay out all these beautiful taonga and just mesmerise everyone. Yes. And I guess that was one of the key things, and still, lives with me now, is that in terms of waiata and taonga puoro or musical instruments, man, there's nothing quite like what we have. It's a distinct taonga, be some really distinct taonga. There are some that have similarities, but there are some that are just, unique to us and to Aotearoa. So definitely being in that space was, I guess, the conjuring, I guess, of Taonga Puoro in my life. But definitely, taka te kapa I te wā, I te whare wānanga o Waikato, tātou, me tō tātou kraihe at Waikato University under the leadership of Rangi Iria Headley, our beautiful whaia. That was pretty much the birth of my actual interaction with Taonga Puoro. So it goes back to those days.
Yes. Rangi Iria Headley is one of my tohunga who taught me pretty much everything I know about Taonga Puoro today. Could you say the same thing?
Oh, definitely. I remember distinctly the first time I met this lady because, I do have a strong kapahaka background. At the time I was a kaihaka for Te Wakahuia in my young heydays. And I remember in our first classes, she really used to challenge me about the use of kapa, not just Te Wakahuia, but the use of Taonga Puoro in the kapahaka space. And we were kind of belittling taonga, and we weren't using it to its full potential. And I didn't understand, I didn't understand then, for all of us kaihaka, you're familiar with the big entrance whakaeke with all the pūkaia, the pūmoana, blowing, and then if you've got someone with the pūrerehu and someone's doing a karakia or takutaku, all that stuff, but that's all. You'd only see it then and you'd hardly see it throughout. So that really got me thinking, in terms of, how te whakapapa, how te tikanga, just going through the whakapapa and learning the origins of all those taonga. You soon got to see that we kind of put Taonga Puoro in a box, in a confined box where, it was only used for this. You only blew it 3 times. Yes. And that was it. Was the common thing back then. And she really challenged me to look deeper into our taonga and its purpose.
A tikanga nei, right?
A tikanga, a wairua, a hinengaro, in terms of looking at it from a contemporary space as well. I think she challenged us in that space. But, even for me, and to this day now, that's the beauty of Taonga Puoro. It's a true hononga of te taiao. You've got an element that's made from the earth, and then you're putting your ha, and then what comes out of that is a unified, I guess, presence that comes out the other side. And for me, that's true hononga ki te taiao. And, you speaking through whether it's made out of wood, stone, anything, water, he hononga tērā ki tō te taiao.
Kia ora. And the collaboration of atua to create the reo that comes through from you is the ira tangata. But I think about who we use to create a kōauau rākau, and then the kōwenewene and the kōrero that go with that. But we are embodying different atua for the notation, for the depth and the breadth and all of the it's. It's a collaboration of our atua Māori, and, us being uri of atua, it just goes hand in hand, right?
Tika rā. And, you're right, all those taonga had a atua. And the beauty about it too kind of broke the notion of just male atua. Taonga Puoro really opened up the aisle of our wahine atua, even to the fact where the atua of Taonga Puoro is he wahine, a hine raukotauri. I use it a lot as a whakatauki of paparereata makiha. Ka haere takirua ngā mea katoa, nothing sits in isolation. You know, everything has its mate. Everything has a something, has a body, has a double. And it's definitely Taonga Puoro through this whakapapa and all that,
Yeah. Where do you see Taonga Puoro in your life at the moment? Are you specialising in anything in particular?
At Te Whare Wānanga under Rangiria, you know, we were all kind of given certain tasks. And I guess one task that was left to me all the time was either musical arrangements or coming up with whakaaro or ideas to fit whatever kaupapa we had. So, you know, if you were to work in that space, yeah, you had to know the whakapapa, the origins, the asua of that taonga, its purpose, and make sure that whatever you do or you arrange, sits in harmony with all those asua and elements. So I guess that's something that I kind of did for a long time, was more around the using it for its purpose.
Kia ora.
And then I guess when I left Te Whare Wānanga and went into the work sector, I ended up in health. And straight away I could see the many different ways Taonga Puoro could be a tool in terms of helping our whānau, you know, break through adversity, rejuvenate, heal, all these different aspects that Taonga Puoro could do. So I guess I went to the hauora space.
Yes.
We were taught that too. You know, we were taught that through Rangiria, all the different types of taonga that was used for hauora.
Kia ora.
You know, even from the pūkaya and playing the pūkaya all over the tiran or where we had an ailment, and the vibrations, you know, would help miri that wāhanga.
Yeah.
So I took a lot of kōrero from that. I did a lot of mahi in addictions, drug and alcohol, smoking. And I realised that a really awesome tool for smoking, I ended up using the kuko
Kia ora.
as a healing taonga. And as we know, the kuko, or the porotiti, was a spinning disc, has the two holes, kōwene, and the cord going through. You'd spin it, and it'll play, and it would vibrate and make a whistling sound. Kōrero hu? Yeah, kōrero hu. Kōrero hu. Te tangi o te poroti, o te kuko. And then if you were to blow on it, kōrero hua. So koera ngā tangi e rua o te kuko o te poroti, kōrero hu, kōrero hua. And also, the beautiful thing about the taonga is that you could wear it after you've finished playing it. So our whānau, you know, sometimes if they're trying to give up smoking, they're really agitated and they got to fiddle with their fingers. Well, ara, you know, hari tikina to taonga. And for the breathing, instead of inhaling, kōrero hua, kōrero wānanga, while you're playing your taonga. So, yeah, it started from there. That was many moons ago, but it was just surprising to see, you know, people that didn't know Taonga Puoro from a bar of soap just connect just like that.
Yeah.
And to the point where, you know, we got some really good results from it. But my main kaupapa was, around, you know, how we use Taonga Puoro in that space, in a hauora space. Yeah.
Yes, 1,000 million gazillion %. Yes. This is the kōrero that I carry around with me all the time in the mahi that I do. In Hapu Wānanga, I am teaching our wahine hapu and their whānau about the kuko hei rongoā, and the differences in the kuko and the porotiti. The kuko being of kauwairunga, whakapapa, where tāwhiri and whaitiri are their parents in quotations. And then when we go to play the porotiti no te kauwairaro, that's tāne mahuta in Hinerau. And when we have a different whakapapa, we play differently and we are using our Taonga Puoro differently, right? And so when I'm talking to our wahine hapu, we're saying kia tau, kia aio, kia noa, anō koe, and by bringing you back to the present, it just whakakotahis all the everythings, and then makes you ready and set for the day. And I can see how easy the kuko can be adapted into or modified into the different pockets of health, of hauora, because it is kua ora anō tata I te kuko. Yeah, so I think not just the kuko, we have other Taonga Puoro, but I remember back in the rā when you asked me about, I think you were doing maybe a quit smoking something. Was that what it was? And we were going to have a wānanga. I can't remember. Do you remember?
Yeah, Aukasi Kaupapa was the quit smoking contract, we were part of, so we got it up and running. And the beauty too around the kuko and the porotiti is that it's probably it's a nice starting taonga to learn from.
Yeah.
You know, not going straight to the kōwauwau or the pūtorino. I still used to remember some of our mates, you know, they'll go straight to the rino.
Yes.
To the raurino, to the more, I guess, easier Taonga Puoro to whakatangi to play. Another, cool, awesome reason around the porotiti and the kuko. But you're definitely right, all our other taonga all have a special place and space within the hauora realm. So the mahi that I do now is a lot of campaigns, marketing, communications, social media, like little semi-productions. And we've also found that, you know, in terms of the space of the COVID response stuff, that a lot of our whānau were really in a stressful space and anxiety. So we purposely played Taonga Puoro in the background of our ads to calm our whānau and to bring our whānau back from that space. And, you know, it was interesting working alongside, we don't call them mainstream, we call them the dominant stream. Stream. We're the mainstream. But from the dominant stream perspective of how they put together their sounds. And when they witnessed how we did it from a whakapapa tikanga space, they just blew them out of the water. From every different scenario we had, we never used two of the same taonga. We used it as per whakapapa. So just like you said, you know, with all our, we had a kōrero about a manu, we played all our tāwhiri mātia taonga. All our taonga that had an affiliation to tāwhiri mātia. The same with our hine moana, all our moana taonga from the pū moana. And I guess that's one mistake I think a lot of our whānau get when they see a pū moana. Straight away they call it a pū tātara.
Ka pai.
You know, not knowing the difference between the pū moana, which is just the shell or the anga, and a pū tātara is the shell with the paiwai. So there's heaps of, you know, different atua that have those different hononga for all those types of kaupapa. It's definitely a ao Māori, kaupapa Māori way. From the mental health spaces we are working now, moving to the space of mindfulness. Taonga Puoro plays a huge space in there too. Again, aligned with all our atua and the phases of that our atua sit in, and, you know, our pūrākau and how our pūrākau talk about situations that our atua or our tipuna work their way through. And, you know, found a light at the end of the tunnel. So in the hauora space, Taonga Puoro definitely plays a huge part.
I was thinking in our kōrero just now how you're from the whānota, and we've got lots of different pūrākau that we continue to tell, continue to normalise in our everyday. Are there any kōrero o nehe pūrākau from the far north that you ka kaha kōrero i o mahi e nei rā?
Yeah. Our infamous one that we're most famous for is definitely the pupu harakeke, how it was used back in the day in terms of an alert system, alerting the people that there were visitors in that space. Just like now we use another name for the pupu harakeke, pupu whakarongo taua. The pupu that can hear the taua coming. And we do use it in a lot of our kōrero. back home and we're talking about being alert, kia matara, kia rite. And I guess in a space that, you know, there's a lot of challenges that face us in the far north. And I think it's everywhere in all our small rural places that can easily distract us. And so we use that kōrero a lot, the pupu harakeke, pupu hakarongo taua, in terms of being alert, being prepared, and just being mindful that if something is coming to stress you out or to bring anxiety, just to be prepared. And, you know, like all natural, I guess, defense strategies, first thing to do is, you know, kia kotahi, whakakotahi.
Kia ora.
Come together as a people. We do, and we still do, have a bit of a strong, you know, peer epidemic up home.
Oh, okay.
And so we do liken that kōrero to utilise as a calling system for ourselves. Just, you know, kia matara, kia hiwa, be prepared, be alert for some of the things that are trying to, I guess, invade our space. And just like the pupu harakeke was a warning symbol for our whānau. It's funny though, because you do hear them in the ngāhere, but it has to be really quiet, and there has to be quite a few of them too, because the sound that it makes is when it's a flax snail.
Kia ora. What colour is it, and how, because, you know, for our listeners, they might be thinking about the big pū moana.
Yeah, it's quite a unique shell. It's like a nice small shell, about the size, just smaller than your fist, quite long, and it's smooth. It's probably the difference between that and your normal pūpū or boo-boo that you'll get it on the from the tātahi from the sea. So it's smooth, it's long, I guess creamy in its colour, could be darker.
Yes.
Depending on how, if the ngata or the snail inside is still there. And the sound that it makes is actually it's a squeaky, like it's really faint. It's like a, is
it like a pipi? You know how a pipi, oh no, nah.
Even more faint than a pipi. It's like a real squeaky sound. Like if you're like rubbing a glass with a glove.
Yeah.
It's like that. And of course, back in the day, when the pupu harakeke was plentiful, when you had a whole mountain of them around, you know, the sound, of course, would be a lot vigorous, a lot stronger. But again, the pupu harakeke can be played like a nguru, and it has a similar sound, a really nice, soft tone when played as the nguru. And if you'll see in our kapa of muri whenua, a lot of our kaihaka actually wear it as a taonga. So when you see the pupu harakeke or the snail-like shell on our kaihaka, you know that person's from the far north.
Yes, it's beautiful. I love how we embody our whenua, where we're from. Pupu harakeke, for our listeners, well, in the name, it's not a shell of the ocean, right? Is it exactly what its name is? Do they live in the harakeke?
Bush, yep.
Oh, wow. Tēnā beautiful, tēnā. It looks like a shell from the ocean. How did the pupu hakarongo taua come to be in the harakeke? Do you know that kōrero?
I don't want to get the story mixed up, but there's another story as well that involves the pingao and the tuatua. As you probably see, if you know the far north, there's it's just barren. There's a lot of sandy banks. And especially where we are in the Pārengaringa Harbour, we have te kokota, which is white sand, silica sand. So yeah, kare kore he whakapapa ki tō te moana. Pērā no i te wā o tāwhiri mātea, e whawhai ana i wana tuakana teina. Nā i hūkere ana te wai, pupuke ai te whenua, i te rawa. So I do remember some of the kōrero around the time of Tāwhiri when he challenged his brothers and he, you know, flooded the water, and it was from that space where there was that hononga of our inland stuff to the...
Oh,
But yeah, karau te ki atu i nā iwa kei, kei he.
Yeah, kei te pai. And we all have, I mean, in my rangahau and in my time in Taonga Puoro, we have many versions of kōrero, and they're not all, there isn't one right one and one, te kōrero matua. But what I love the most is that we can appreciate all of the different kōrero, because that just, well, ka whakaki te kete, yeah? What are your aspirations for Taonga Puoro? And how do you feel Taonga Puoro can be strengthened in and around the whare whānau hapu iwi?
Yeah, to be honest, I do wish I could be more active in the Taonga Puoro space. I think it's every year we'll bump into each other and say, hey, let's do something. Yeah. I do remember some of our big aspirations back when we were all together around further promoting Taonga Puoro, expeditions, showcases, even to the point where I remember Rangi Iria, actually, I toko te whakaro nā etahi o wana tauira tawhito o i mua Yamato. Kia hanga tētahi Taonga Puoro orchestra. And kia whakahono wai ki te reo o ngā waiata o te opera back in the day. And it was like I think, she was saying that she had aspirations of having a Taonga Puoro orchestra accompany opera on the river. That has always stuck in my mind. Yeah. Something like that. It could be an opportunity for other whānau to start their Taonga Puoro journey just from witnessing something like that. Just like I used to see, Matua Hirini and Richard Nuns do all their expeditions and workshops. That would definitely be amazing. But as we know, and I've actually, after our time together at university, I did end up playing some Taonga Puoro, like as a backup musician for some artists. I won't say their names. And played at some kids. And funny enough, I think it was our Taonga Puoro mates from that same class, like Fitu Silva, who was running a production, and she goes, okay, I'll ring up my mates, they can play Taonga Puoro. Yeah. And we were working with this artist, and she just said, oh no, I want this sound. Oh no, play that one because I want a thing sound. And I said, oh no, that's not how we play. It's the taonga that tells us. And funny enough, they had people like Arija, Taisha, and they were coming up to me and Tosi at the time, and they were just going, man, yous are me. They were buzzing, Here's a 7-piece band jamming all your classics, and then there's me and Tosi with our kiti of taonga and 2 mics, and we're just playing. Yes. In terms of an orchestra, I don't know how that would go down. I think it'd have to be written for our Taonga Puoro. It'd have to be a pūrākau kind of style feel. Where you tell a kōrero and a pūrākau through taonga, and everyone just have your space and you just jam like how we used to. Definitely. I think that would be amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
What about in terms of kapahaka? How can we bring our reo kōhimuhimu or, together? Because you would know, being on stage, if your reo isn't strong, then you can't hear it. And so, say, for example, it was an opportune time to be playing the kuko in the bracket. How would you go about playing that in our haka?
Well, he pātai tēnō pai tērā. Even how do we acknowledge Taonga Puoro in that space as an actual judged item? Yes. Kia whakamanahia I tō tātou taonga, Let's chuck it in. Even if it's a non-aggregate item, just think of what it could do for our taonga. As we say that, I might get in trouble for saying this too, but maybe we need to do away with the guitar.
I was just thinking about that. How did the guitar get in there in the first place?
How the guitar sneak in there and our taonga, sit on the side. But I do think that we're definitely in a space where we can see change and movement like that, knowing how many, like-minded Taonga Puoro enthusiasts there are now. We had designated spots on a stage for all our taonga ngāwari. There's just so many possibilities. So,
or how about all 40 kaihaka playing a pūpū harakeke?
Hey,
Wow.
you're giving away.
Oh, sorry.
I think it was not long after I finished university and I moved over to Muri Whenua. And some will know that we've got a waiata tira. And there's myself and old Sam Poharama.
No.
And we're playing koaua and nguru whenever we feel like it through the waiata. And for me, that was an ode to Rangi Iria. I remember the time when she played the pūtorino for Te Whare Wānanga Waikato. And man, it was out of this world. It was rich and it just showed that deep history and knowledge, and even the sound just, gave our kupu, elevated it. Like how we're saying now, a better vessel than the guitar.
Beautiful.
Yeah, but no, yes, our kapa have spoken about 40 pupu harakeke and us playing together. We do still hold some, tikanga and our own tikanga. We visit Te Rerenga Wairua quite a bit, and that's our space to wānanga. So before we go out to the war, to battle, whether it's regionals or a couple haka club down the road, we always make our way home. We have a special space and we do our kawea mātou tikanga kawa kia whakarere ai. And
Beautiful.
the pupu harakeke does play a space in that too. So it's not just for the stage. It has its purpose in everything that we do.
Pehea ki tō taha hauora. I mean, we've had lots of conversations about it, but is there anything in particular we want to see Taonga Puoro in the hauora space?
Oh, definitely. And I've seen a young fella, Jerome, do some amazing mahi with Taonga Puoro in the healing space. Some of our taonga, they are ngāwari, so they need another waka, kauwaka to whakakahangia tērā reo.
No.
That's the beauty of technology, and also the beauty around Taonga Puoro, how the synergy is just effortless, And I think that's what I was trying to get at. Back in our days when we used to wānanga, we used to really push the limits. There was no real limits because the synergies just sat in effortlessly when we combined taonga with piano and dance and movement and percussion, lighting. We really stretched it and it just... Pērei tō tātou tai au. Koira te, I guess, te tūāpapa. Everything else is an add-on. But definitely for the mental health space, I think Taonga Puoro can really make some serious change for our whānau in all different spaces of taumahatanga. Right down to some really deep stuff and even the light touch stuff as well. And, I've witnessed it. I've witnessed it transform people. I'll whaia Hinewehi Mohi and her kaupapa around music as a therapy. Taonga Puoro as a therapy. Again, there it is there. We've been developing some stuff around mindfulness in terms of being connected to our atua, to our pūrākau, to our kōrero, to our reo. And Taonga Puoro is that perfect waka or to carry all that kōrero and put it in a really nice space.
Beautiful.
My definite aspirations for it being in the hauora, cemented strongly in hauora, would be I'd love to be an advocate to see that happen, especially in our areas of high distress, and seeing how Taonga Puoro can bring people back into a calm, safe space for them to gather their thoughts and regather themselves. Taonga Puoro definitely has it.
Taonga Puoro can also teach us how to be comfortable in the space that we're in. And that there is no pressure to be anything or anywhere or succeed or well, that it's okay. And for me, Taonga Puoro and rongoā is a part of my everyday life and a huge part of recenter, refocus, and present, to become present. And when we learn that we don't have to be any particular anything, and that our Taonga Puoro have the ability to bring our focus to the now, then, it's got to be good for us.
Yeah,
right?
and I think you just summed it up beautifully. That whole kōrero was in the true essence of Hine Raukatauri and her waka, her cocoon that, sits in her and shelters her and, provides that safe haven, that space that's unique to herself.
Yeah, tō
Yeah,
ake.
beautiful kōrero.
Man, this has been yummy as kōrero, and I can't wait to catch up with you after this to have some more yummy kōrero. But he kōrero anō, hei whakakapi, nei kōrero, any final tips?
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that you don't find Taonga Puoro, it'll find you. It'll grab you when you least expect it. I can't finish without acknowledging hauora sira, Rangi Iria, the way she taught us was all part of the whole experience of Taonga Puoro. There was no better person to explain to us all the whakapapa, the hononga, all the challenges, all the nuances of Taonga Puoro. She was absolutely amazing to the point where, she really challenged me in my space and my thought of Taonga Puoro in the kapahaka space. And if there's probably one kōrero that, asui ngā mea o te hauora, e ngā kaunui ana ki te ao kapahaka, again, that would be a huge aspiration of mine if we were to elevate Taonga Puoro, whakanuia, recognise it for its worth in the kapahaka space, and make it an non-aggregate item. Ko takato te marika.
He wero kei te haere. Choice. Yes, perfect. Just now I was thinking about all your compositions. Over the years you had incorporated Taonga Puoro. Is there anyone in particular that you still remember today? And why you remember it?
Yeah, I remember one waiata I wrote, and it was just like straight off the bat.
Yeah.
Didn't even think about it. I think Rangi Iria wanted a waiata, and here's me trying to come up with one, looking over to my left, and Matua Pau Tēmura's there, and I'm like, I got to come up with something. So the first thing that came into mind was Hine Raukatauri. The kōrero of Hine Raukatauri and how, one version, her reo wasn't really heard through the world until the kōkako took on the reo of Hine Raukatauri. And it was really basic, ko tō reo e Hine Raukatauri, reo reka nā ngā sua, ko tō reo e Hine Raukatauri, hei painga mō tātou katoa.
Kia ora.
Koira noiho. Do you remember it? You got a better Yeah, and of course, having Matua Pau right there, I passed the words to him, and he just said, Atahua.
Yeah.
And then flipped the words to our mates, and 2-2s, we had a waiata. Those are rare occasions when things like that happen, but again, I think the synergy we had back then and the vibe we had just sprang that waiata to life.
You're going to have to sing it, brother, to bring it to life today.
Oh, man.
And then remind me, and then I might sing along with you.
Yeah. And to be honest, I do see Whaihine Wehi Mohi quite a bit because the APRA building is right next to the Mental Health Foundation building in Mount Eden. And there are times where I try and sing my waiata through the wall.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. And I did imagine her singing it. So I do think that she was in my thinking space at the time. Ko tō reo e hine hine rau katauri, reo re kāna ngā atua. Ko tō reo e hine rau katauri, hei pai ngā mō tātou katoa.
Yeah.
Nā te kokako I whakaoho, ka taia e tātou te rongo. Nā te kokako I whakaoho, e hine waia tamai.
Ko tō reo e hine rau katauri.
Haere tōnei.
Reo re ka nā ngā atua. Ko tō reo e hine rau katauri. Hei painga mō tātou katoa. Nā te kokako I whakaoho, ka taia e tātou te rongo. Nā te kokako I whakaoho, e hine waia tamai. Ko tō reo e hine rau katauri, e reo re ka nā ngā atua. Ko tō reo e hine rau katauri, hei painga mō tātou katoa. Ho, hokinga mahara. I wish I had was sitting upright and had warmed my voice up for that. Oh, beautiful. Oh, wow. Yes, I did all my thank yous earlier. I just can't thank you enough, Tingane.
Can't believe you made me do this.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. I te au I te pō. Thank you, Tingane. Oh, man, thank you. Hokinga mahara. As i ngā rā o Rangiria. So thank you for taking us back. Thank you also again for making the time. I know you're tino busy all around the country, but to come to this space and time and wātea I tō rā, I tō ao, ki tēnei kaupapa whakahirahira te Taonga Puoro. Yeah, mihi ana. You started off with a karakia. You want to finish us off with a karakia too, Tingane?
Yeah, māma.
Ana.
Mihi ana e hoa, mihi ana kia tātou, mā koe whakakapi, kia tau I hoka mana ki tango te waihingaro, kei rongi a tātou, ka pāki tua, ka pāki waho, he wānanga nuku, he wānanga rangi turu wawi, te whakamaua kia tīna, haumi e, hui e, taiki e.
Ko te piko te mahuri, ko ia te tipu a te rākaui. Heri tā tangata